In the towering Himalayas, where the sky kisses the peaks, the story of Hannelore Schmatz, a fearless German climber, unfolds. Her quest to reach Everest's summit is a tale of courage and relentless determination. Will Hannelore conquer the crown of the world, or will she become another haunting whisper, forever lost in the mountain's chilling grasp? Breathtaking beauty, chilling danger, and an unforgettable climax. Stay tuned for the rest of the video to witness Hannelore Schmatz's story. Hannelore's extraordinary journey on Everest took her through a series of pivotal locations, each presenting unique challenges. The expedition commenced at Everest's base camp, a hub of preparation and anticipation nestled in the Himalayan expanse. This is where climbers acclimatized, fine-tuned their gear, and formed the bonds that would be tested on the ascent. The ascent itself unfolded through various stages, including the perilous South Col, a high-altitude camp serving as the last outpost before the ultimate challenge, the summit standing at a breathtaking 29,032 feet. It marked the pinnacle of Hannelore's aspirations and the culmination of her unwavering determination. The descent, however, plunged them back into the unforgiving death zone, a region notorious for its thin air and harsh conditions. We will go through each of these locations in detail in the video ahead, offering a comprehensive exploration of the physical and emotional landscapes that defined Hannelore's remarkable journey. Alongside her husband Gerhard, an equally daring and experienced mountaineer, Hannelore's climbing resume held tales of breathtaking triumphs. Among her accomplishments were daring ascents of formidable giants like Manaslu, each conquered summit a testament to her unwavering determination. Yet, for this tenacious couple, Everest remained the ultimate prize. Its siren song echoed in their souls, beckoning them from a realm where the very air tested the limits of human endurance. A majestic summit that dwarfed all others, Everest embodied both a fierce challenge and an irresistible allure. Hannelore wasn't simply a participant in this extraordinary endeavor, she was its fervent driving force. With meticulous precision, she oversaw every detail of the expedition, demonstrating her keen eye and masterful planning skills. Gear, the finest that European manufacturers could provide, was procured and carefully shipped to their base in the bustling heart of Kathmandu. In this whirlwind of logistical preparations, Hannelore's spirit of tenacity shone through, fueled by an unshakable belief that success hung on the finest of margins. She understood instinctively that every inch of Everest's brutal climb would be a battleground, where a climber's will and equipment would be pushed to their absolute breaking points. Alongside Gerhard, she meticulously assembled a team of seasoned climbers and local guides, a small but formidable force of men who shared her passion and her iron resolve. Together, they prepared to defy the odds and pit themselves against the world's most infamous peak. Alongside Hannelore and Gerhard, the expedition team included New Zealander Nick Banks, Swiss Hans von Kannel, American Ray Genet, and fellow Germans Tilman Fischbach, Gunter Feitz, and Hermann Worth. Hannelore stood as the sole woman amidst this brotherhood of daring mountaineers. Fueled by dreams of a triumphant summit, they journeyed into the heart of the Himalayas. Yet, amidst these towering dreams, fate held a hidden grim twist for Hannelore. Nestled within the unforgiving beauty of Everest's frozen heights, a chilling question remained unanswered, an icy ghost waiting to unfurl its terrible truth near the very roof of the world. Climbing Everest is the ultimate physical and mental challenge, a relentless trial where each labored step is a struggle against an indifferent, unforgiving mountain. Hannelore, Gerhard, and their determined team face this challenge with unwavering resolve, their determination burning fiercely against the bitter Himalayan winds. They navigated the treacherous Yellow Band, its deceptively golden rocks offering no warmth under the unrelenting sun. They inched across the razor-sharp spine of the Geneva Spur, battling icy gusts that threatened to tear them from the mountain. Their goal, etched in their minds with every gasping breath, was the South Col. This infamous saddle, a desolate, wind-swept notch high between Everest and Lhotse, represented the last major camp before the final, brutal push to the summit. Yet, just as victory seemed within their grasp, nature lashed out with a furious reminder of its ultimate dominance. A raging blizzard descended, its blinding snow and deafening roar forcing them to retreat to the relative safety of Camp 3. Everest, it seemed, would demand a heavy price for its coveted summit. The enforced delay gnawed at their spirits, testing their patience but not their unwavering determination. Days later, when the storm finally yielded, they once again braved the grueling climb to the South Col. Splitting into smaller, more nimble groups, they tackled the unforgiving slope. Now, Hannelore and Gerhard, partners in life and in mountaineering, found themselves separated in this final, desperate race against the elements and a dwindling margin of time. Gerhard's team forged ahead, reaching the South Col after 3 exhausting days. Their bodies screamed with fatigue, but even as they hurriedly established camp, anxious thoughts clung to them. Where was Hannelore's team? Were they closing the gap, or had the mountain laid claim to more victims? While Gerhard's group rested, if such a thing was possible at that altitude, and prepared for their final summit attempt the following morning, exhaustion gnawed at their resolve. This last stretch, from the south summit to the legendary highest point on Earth, promised to be the most daunting. Here, solid ice surrendered to treacherous snowfields, an ever-shifting landscape ripe for disaster. Yet, against all odds, Gerhard reached an extraordinary milestone. At 50 years old, he etched his name into mountaineering history as the oldest person to ever stand atop Everest. For a fleeting, glorious moment, he tasted unparalleled victory. But in that same instant, triumph was swallowed by a wave of desperate worry. Records and personal achievements meant nothing. He needed to know if Hannelore was safe, if she was still fighting her own grueling battle just somewhere below them. Word reached Gerhard back at South Col Camp as night enveloped the unforgiving peak. In a single breathless report, his heart soared. Hannelore had made it. Alongside several others from her group, she touched the roof of the world, achieving the mountaineering dream that consumed them both. For a woman already lauded in mountaineering history books, this was another extraordinary feather in her cap, solidifying her reputation as a force of nature. But this moment of sheer elation would be tragically fleeting. Even as Gerhard reveled in his wife's extraordinary triumph, the mountain was already casting its cruel, unwavering shadow. Gerhard descended back towards Camp 3, where he yearned to be reunited with Hannelore, to see the joy and exhaustion mingled in her eyes. Yet Everest's fickle mistress, the weather, rapidly soured, swiftly transforming their shared victory into a desperate scramble for basic survival. Over the radio, Hannelore and her team sounded strong, resilient, though with every transmission, hints of crippling exhaustion seeped through. Ominous warnings of treacherous conditions crackled from fellow climbers on the radio, chilling Gerhard to the bone and fueling his growing, gnawing worry. Yet, in those communications, Hannelore seemed unshakable, her voice laced with grim determination as she navigated the treacherous descent. All Gerhard could do was wait, clinging desperately to a flicker of hope against the rising wind. That's when the unthinkable news pierced the night air. Ray Genet, a skilled American climber, a mountaineer with grit etched into his being, was giving up. The mountain, it seemed, had finally broken him. Just a whisper below the summit, strength depleted and spirit fractured, he resolved to carve out a desperate bivouac or temporary camp. A last-ditch, fatally exposed shelter against the mountain's fury. Sherpas accompanying Hannelore's team pleaded with them to keep moving, issuing dire warnings about the deadly grasp of the death zone. In this oxygen-starved hell above 24,000 feet, to linger was to tempt fate, to offer oneself to the icy embrace of hypothermia. But Ray Genet held firm, the mountain's icy grip already settling within his exhausted mind. Soon, the biting cold would extinguish the last spark of life from his broken body. Now, the remaining climbers found themselves facing a brutal, gut-wrenching choice. Should they push onward through the swirling, disorienting storm, or face their own agonizing demise beside the fallen American? For Hannelore, however, the question seemed tragically answered. Like Genet, her body had been pushed beyond human tolerance. Her final, desperate words crackled over the radio. "Water, water," she said faintly. In that tragic plea, one thing became chillingly clear. Hannelore Schmatz would go no further. Just beneath Everest's summit, within sight of an unparalleled triumph, death would weave its cold embrace, forever stealing her final fading breaths. One Sherpa, showing unthinkable bravery in that brutal environment, remained with Hannelore's body through the night. But Everest is merciless, and even selfless courage has its price. He returned frostbitten, the mountain claiming victory over even the living. And there, leaning against her pack in the biting wind, Hannelore was frozen into eternity. She did not become simply another anonymous casualty lost in the vastness of the peak. Instead, tragic happenstance made her a horrifying landmark. Hannelore Schmatz became the German woman, her body an inevitable sight on the southern route, forever resting in her climbing gear, eyes chillingly open, hair whipped endlessly by the wind. In a grim twist of fate, 2 lives would be lost as an attempt to recover Hannelore's body in 1984 went tragically wrong. A Sherpa and a Nepalese police inspector fell to their deaths. Finally, years later, the whims of Everest erased even this haunting sight. A powerful wind sent Hannelore's frozen figure over the Kangshung face, disappearing into the vastness she sought to conquer. Hannelore Schmatz and her fellow fallen climbers stand as stark reminders on a mountain that forgives no error. Every expedition launched upon that icy slope carries a weight, the knowledge that ambition should always be paired with humility. For Everest does not play favorites. Its victims might be experienced guides or first-time challengers. Each life lost leaves a hole in the climbing community and a solemn lesson for those who dream of that fabled peak. If you found this story moving, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more tales of extraordinary courage.